Well, hello, young people and those who are young at heart. We are here today for another cuppa with, and today's cuppa is with Laura Reilly, and Laura's here representing the Belville Community Garden Trust. So welcome, Laura. Thank you very much for joining us. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
So Laura, I'm excited to hear all about the Belville Community Garden. I don't know much at all, so I'm really excited.
Visit.
Yeah, and you know, it's not that far away from where I live, so I really must come and visit. Our first question for you today, Laura, really is, what is the Belville Community Garden and what do you do?
Right, okay, so well, we do a lot, to be honest. We are a lot more than just gardening, but we do a lot of gardening. So we're on a site that is right the way along Belville Street. It's on several tiers, and we've got an office space at the end of it. So in our office, we've got a training kitchen, we've got an education room, and a sort of general office space. And then out into the garden, we've got a very long road. And we've got a pod that used to be a shipping container that we use as a workshop. Then we've got lots of community beds where, you know, we show how to grow lots of different fruit and veg in our garden clubs. And then on the very top tier, we've got a biodiversity garden and 26 planters that we call the people's planters that people can rent, a bit like an allotment, but with a bit more support, really. We don't just sort of let you get on with it unless that's what you want to do. And then we've got a children's garden. So we've got quite a big space, and we do a lot. So we do a lot to do with healthy living and well-being. So that might be mental well-being, that might be healthy living to do with getting more active, like cycling lessons for little ones or older ones or young at heart ones, like you were just saying, cookery classes. So that's one area of sort of enabling that we do. Then the other side of things is looking about where we are. Obviously, Belville's an area, you know, that has its fair share of problems. So it's what can we do in the local area to help that, particularly about food insecurity. So we've got larders, emergency larders set up outside Belville, so that if people need something, just, you know, to tide them over on a Sunday evening, a couple of tins, things like that, when nothing's open, then it's there. And we've now got larders set up throughout Inverclyde just to help people out. And during COVID, we just changed so much. We did a lot of different things going on. I don't know if you read about some of the things that we were doing. We took over the sports hall down the road, and we did a lot of emergency sort of food parcels for people. So over 4,000 of those we did.
Wow.
Which was 7 days worth of food. So that was a change. That was like a whole different job. Set up now. Yeah.
Wow, but amazing that you were able to step up and meet a need, and you know, in the middle of this crisis. So that's amazing. I'm interested to know, Laura, how did the Belville Community Garden first begin?
Oh, well, there's a great story there. So it started with a group of really passionate residents. So the high flats. There were 7 high flats that were on the site, and when you look at the site now, you just can't believe that there were so many people living there in these high flats. The biggest, so they were demolished, but they were Riverclyde Homes flats. They were demolished, and the residents got together in a group and were really passionate. They just did not want any more housing. They wanted something for the residents of the area, so they really campaigned, because they weren't given that straight away. And so what they did is they went round Scotland and they looked at different projects to decide what they wanted. Did they want a play park? Did they want a skate park? And they decided on a community garden, and it's still going. So that was in 2014-15 that we originally set up. So they did really well.
Wow, I had no idea that was the kind of origins of the garden.
Yeah.
That's really cool. When local people are so invested in improving an area, and they're, you know, hot pursuit of this amazing thing. That, I mean, look at the impact that you guys have had, all because people were like, no, this is what we want. That's really, really cool. So, Laura, can you tell me what the heartbeat or the mission is behind the work that you do? What's the heartbeat? Why do you do what you do?
I think it's this idea of enablement. I think is at the core of what we do, and to create a safe space where, you know, a lot of people suffer from trauma. I think trauma is at the heart of a lot of problems that people experience. Trauma and disengagement from sort of being grounded in nature. So it's to create a safe space where people can just be themselves, are welcome for exactly who they are, whoever that is, and what they've got to offer. And sometimes when you feel that safe, that you can be yourself, it's amazing actually what you can achieve. You know, when you're that sort of disinhibited and you know, and you can sometimes sort of just get away from that trauma just for a while.
Yeah.
So that's why we're much more in the community garden. We're still calling ourselves a community garden because gardening's really important, and getting back to nature is really important. But rather than setting ourselves up as this big shiny charity, we still call ourselves as a community garden, because then it just, people feel at home. You know, they don't feel threatened by what we are. You know, that we're some, you know, fantastic organisation that they can't feel a part of.
Yeah, I just loving hearing about it. Could you maybe share one or two of some of your favourite stories of the positive impact that the work that you're doing has had on local people?
Yeah, I think some of it's all to do with the growing, often like the best stories. So we ran some gardening projects over at King's Oak School. So we put in 7 raised beds, 1 for each class, and we grew veg for the first time in the school, and just harvesting that veg and seeing kids like dig up potatoes. It's like they're finding the crown jewels under the ground, you know, and they're carrying these as if they're worth, you know, more than diamonds, sort of into the school to show their teachers. It's those sort of things, and introducing people, particularly, like I said, who suffer from trauma or anxiety, getting people grounded back in nature. You'd never think. And every day she's up at her raised bed at the top, and you can tell it just means the world to her, and has provided such a release from what she's been going through.
Oh, it's really, really lovely. Your video cut out a little bit there, but I think you said that there's a woman that goes to one of the beds every day, or did you say one of the kids?
No, it's a woman who goes there every day. So it's, you know, young and old, growing. And in fact, Linda, who's our new volunteer development worker, is doing a great project at the moment in conjunction with Age Scotland. So she's taking out tabletop gardening. So it's just little gardening projects that people can do. She does a Zoom call, and there's just hilarious laughter sort of coming from the room when she's doing it. And people have been saying, gosh, this is the first time I've managed to get my hands sort of back in the soil for just such a long time, you know. So it's projects like that, it's little things like that, you know, make your job worthwhile.
Yeah, absolutely. Really rewarding to watch people, you know, thrive. It really is. So how can local people get involved, and how can local people support the work of Belville Community Garden?
Oh, lots of different ways. So we've got lots of volunteering opportunities, a new volunteer development worker who's been taken on just to coordinate that. Volunteer opportunities ranging from, you know, gardening, organising, admin, cooking, you know, whatever people like to do. I think we could welcome in almost anybody and find their skills, you know, put to good use, really.
Yeah.
So that's the volunteering side of things. Obviously, any donations that people have, and that might be, you know, kindly money donations, but it could also be food, tins and things like that to help stock up our larders. It was lovely. I was passing Belville on Sunday, and I just stopped by just outside to check the larder was okay, and somebody was filling it up with tins. And I just thought, oh, that's lovely that you've done that, you know, so people can have that at the end of a Sunday. So what else? Food, donations, yeah, and just by joining in on social media. You know, we're on Facebook all the time, you know, so we've just done a Zoom call, which is a cookery lesson. We're on Friday, we do cook-alongs, and also a gardening session. So just join in, you know, join in. Become part of the craziness that's Belville.
It sounds great. If somebody does want to join in, what's the best way that they can get those details and to get in touch with you guys?
Either get on our Facebook page, or we're on Instagram or Twitter, or our website. Just search us up on the web, or failing that, just give us a call. We're really easy to get hold of.
That's fabulous. Laura, thanks so much for coming and sharing with me. Technology hasn't been wonderful this morning. The video's dipped in and out a little, but I think we've got the majority of what you wanted to share. But thank you for joining us. I've loved hearing about this morning, and you're right, I have no excuse. I live so close. I need to come and visit.
Absolutely. Get the wellies on, get down here, yeah.
Thank you for the good work that you're doing. It's great to hear. Thanks very much. Bye.